Jeremy, I think you're muted.
I shut my mic off. False start. All right, good start. All right, hi everyone. Welcome to the first meeting of the Information Security Club for the 2020-2021 year. A special COVID edition. Ha ha ha. I hate that joke. Everyone makes it and is getting really tired. So yeah, my name is Jeremy. I'm the president of the club. Thanks for coming to see the stream. We're going to tell you a bit about what it is that we're doing this year. Then we're going to have a workshop after this on Linux command line basics. For anyone in Computer Science 329, you've probably already seen this, but you can practice it a little more. For anyone who thinks, oh, that's simple, I already know that stuff already, there's flags buried in this workshop. And if you want fake internet points, you can stick around to find flags and get them that way. Yeah, so first, a little housekeeping that we have to get through. So the attendance will be kept until the end of the presentation. That should be about 25 minutes. And then you can sign up. For the people in Computer Science 329, you're getting participation bonus points for being here. There's a box to tick on that form to say that you're in 329. If you do that, then you'll get your participation mark. If you haven't joined the Discord already, please join the Discord. Emily, if you click one more time, the Discord QR code will come up for you. I imagine everyone here is already in the Discord. If you haven't set up your Kali Linux yet, please do that as soon as possible. You don't need it for this week's workshop, but it's important to get on that early because there's going to come a day when you do need it. And if you try to do it right before the meeting and it doesn't work, you're going to be left out in the cold for that workshop. We're doing office hours on Fridays at 3 p.m. to help people. The office hours we had last week, no one showed up, which means that everything's going great. Anyone who was here last year will know that it's not easy sometimes to set up Kali Linux. Last year, we did 2 weeks of basically tech support, trying to get it to work on everyone's laptops. There's information on that in the workshop materials in the Discord. You can find us online at infosecucalgary.ca, and at infosecucalgary is what we use on all of our social media. So with that, we're going to introduce all the execs of the club so that everyone gets to see them. Everyone's sitting at home right now. It would have been awesome to do this in person, and they all would have been on stage. But everyone's here, and we're going to bring them all on screen right now to introduce themselves. And they're all coming on. So I'm going to start. As I said, my name is Jeremy Stewart. I'm the president of the club. I'm a fourth-year computer science student here at the U of C. And I'll pass it off to Alex.
Hi, I'm Alex. I'm the vice president of the club. I'm technically in my fourth year of computer science and also my fourth year of political science, but right now I'm off on internship at Cisco.
Hi, I'm Emily. I'm the VP Ops for the club. I'm an year computer science student, and I'm also currently taking a co-op term. So I'm working as a junior developer with a Calgary company called PureWeb.
Hi, I'm Ijaz. I'm the secretary for the InfoSec Club. I'm in my 5th year of a combined math and computer science degree.
Hi, I'm James. I'm I'm James. I'm technical director for the club here, and I'm currently a 4th-year student at the University of Calgary in computer science. Sunny?
Hi, I'm Britta. I'm a 4th-year computer scientist, and I'm the VP communications for the club, which means I do the social media and newsletters. Josh, you want to go next?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Josh. I'm also kind of a third and a half year computer science student. I'm VP of Tech and resident webmaster.
Brandon, you want to go next?
Brandon.
Oh, I think Brandon is maybe having audio issues. Sunny, why don't you go?
Yeah, hey guys, I'm Sunny. I'm a 3rd-year computer science business major, and I'm VP finance for the club.
Yeah, we can hear you now, Brandon.
I can hear you.
Did I go?
Yeah.
Brandon,
Oh,
do
wait.
you want to try going?
Can I?
Now you've muted yourself. There you go.
Okay. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Hello? Okay. Okay, sweet. Sweet. All right. So I'm Brandon. I am a tech expert on the exec team, and I'm also a computer science student. And who's next?
Braden, I think is the only one we haven't heard from.
Hey, I'm Braden. I'm third-year computer science student, and I'm also VP Tech.
Okay. So junior execs, Alex, I think you're up.
So you just met all of our execs. They're all super cool people, but you might have noticed that a lot of them are going to be graduating within the next year, which means a lot of our executives about to leave. We need execs on this team to be able to run the club and do all the cool stuff that we're about to tell you about that we've planned over the summer. So we're looking for junior execs this year. It's a lot of work to be an exec in this club, but it's really worth it. You'll get a lot of opportunities for the club. We let our execs participate in workshops and competitions over the summer that the rest of the club wasn't able to. You get to meet a lot of industry professionals that we've made connections with throughout the club, and you get to create projects that are helpful for your resume. Emily actually got her internship showing some of her club work from it. So it's definitely worth it. If this interests you, you can be a first year, you can be someone who's way older than that. But we're going to have a meeting October the 1st. That's a Thursday at 6 p.m. Anyone can apply and we'll see you there and answer any questions and talk about it a little more. Thank you.
All right, so next we are going to bring on Sunny to talk a little bit more about membership this year.
Hey guys, so unlike last year, our membership is not $0. We do have a $10 membership fee this year. And in order to be our full member, you need to attend at least half of our club meetings and pay the $10 fee. Both members and non-members can attend our workshops. However, membership does come with its perks. We are hosting 5 speaker series this semester that only members can attend. Apart from that, you guys also get early announcements to our new events, and you also get early registration to our Magpie CTF, which is our very own CTF. You'll know more about that soon. In order to be a member, you can e-transfer us $10 to the email, as you can see on the slide right now. And it does take us about 24 hours to process the membership fee. In case you don't see a role on Discord saying premium member after 24 hours, just hit me up on Discord and I'll figure it out for you.
Awesome. Next, we're going to bring on Britta to talk just a little bit about the Constitution.
So the Constitution is available in the Club Documents channel on the Discord. Read it if you feel so inclined. It covers all of how the club functions, how membership works, description of the club execs, and a bunch of bureaucracy the SU wants us to have in writing. It also describes how elections work. Elections will happen at the AGM at the end of March. Only full members can vote though, so make sure you pay your fees and attend the meetings.
All right, next up, Alex is going to talk a little bit about the Code of Ethics.
So we want to be ethical hackers in this club. We're going to teach you a lot of things and different lessons and skills that we don't want you to necessarily use maliciously. We want to learn how to hack, not because we want to become hackers necessarily, but because we want to get into the security industry and we want to see that ways that products and software that we make will be hacked. We drafted a code of ethics last year, and it defines some general rules around what you can and can't do with the skills that we teach you. It just essentially says to be decent. If you aren't sure if you should be doing something, ask an exec. You can DM us. You can ask in the public chat on Discord. We will tell you, and we will kick you out of the club if you break it, just because we don't want to be held liable for that. That's not what our club stands for. There's a copy of the code of ethics in the Discord channel club documents. Please sign it, and at a later meeting, we'll ask for it with your attendance.
Basically, Alex would revel in the chance to kick someone out of the club, so don't think we won't do it. Next up, Ijaz, kind of leading on from the Code of Ethics, Ijaz is going to talk a little bit about club culture.
Hi, everyone. So club culture, first of all, knowing nothing is good. Do not be afraid of us because we also know pretty much nothing. We taught ourselves all this information and we're learning it along just so we can teach it to you guys. Help one another and don't assume others know what you know. Basically, if you feel comfortable in a topic and you see in the Discord someone may be struggling, don't be afraid to lend them a helping hand. Basically, just because you know something or were able to figure it out right away does not mean others are essentially able to do that. And finally, I would like to leave you on one of my favorite quotes. I crushed it on my first try, said by literally no one ever. So all we ask is you try first, and if you still can't get it, then you can ask for help.
All right, so that brings us to what this club actually does. What do we do? There's a whole bunch of stuff. We're going to go through it. First of all, the biggest and most important thing that is the main focus of this club is workshops. And we've got a couple people who are going to talk about workshops. So I'm going to bring on Josh, Braden, and Brandon.
All right, well, this year we have a lot of really exciting workshops planned for all of you. You can find them all, by the way. The schedule, you can find it on infosecucalgary.ca. So we're going to be doing these workshops. We're going to be streaming them like this, Mondays from 6 to 8.
Yeah, so we're doing things a little bit differently this year. Last year we had everyone attending the same workshops. This term we're going to split into beginner and advanced workshops. They'll be held at the same time. Beginner, I think, we'll be doing on Discord, and then advanced will be on Twitch and YouTube. And the beginner workshops will be for people who are new to the club. You'll go over, there are kind of 5 main areas you'll see in CTFs, and there'll be an overview of that, and you'll get a feel for the kind of things you do. And the advanced workshops will look at more specific topics in depth. For example, you might be looking at RSA encryption or Linux privilege escalation and things like that.
And finally, we always try to...
So the final thing is that the goal of all of these workshops is to make it into hands-on learning. There's a lot of stuff that you learn in class, but there's more that you can learn by actually doing it yourselves. So the goal is to actually get you guys working on this stuff. We will be there to help you if you need help, and if we can't provide help or we're busy helping other people, we really strive to foster a club culture where you guys can also help each other. Next up, I get to kick everyone out except me. Get out of here, Josh. The speaker series. This is brand new for this year. We are going to be bringing in professionals across different disciplines in the cybersecurity industry to give talks to you guys about their areas of expertise. They're a really great opportunity for you guys to meet some really cool people. They are for paid members only, but we think it's well worth it because the talks that we're going to be discussing are really cool. They span a wide variety of topics in the cybersecurity industry, people in the industry, people in academia, and some really cool topics that you might not hear about just by taking classes at U of C. Next up, I'm going to bring Brandon back on. We're going to try.
Okay, so I think I can speak for the entire exec team right now when I say that we are very excited to announce that we're going to be hosting a CTF from February the 19th to the 21st. It's going to be everything 80s themed, so that means pop culture, music, events, all that stuff. And it's going to have cash prizes as well as swag and sponsors who are going to be watching the event. So it's going to be a very good opportunity to expand your network and gain some exposure and hopefully have some fun and make some friends. We're going to be rolling out some more details on how you can sign up in the coming weeks. So just keep an eye on the Discord for that. And we hope to see you at the CTF. Back to you.
All right. So you guys have probably heard us talking a whole bunch about this thing called a CTF. And if you were here last year or you're in the know, you're like, ah, CTF, I gotcha. But if you're brand new, you might be wondering, what are those 3 letters? I do not know these 3 letters. Please enlighten me. So we're going to go over the very basics of what a CTF is, why we think they're important, and why we also think they're really fun. So essentially, a CTF is a capture the flag tournament, and it's more or less a hacking competition. There are a bunch of different styles. There's attack defense CTFs, and then there are the ones that we play more often, which are Jeopardy style CTFs. So you will get something that looks a little bit like this. You can see that there are a whole bunch of different challenges with categories. They're all with different numbers of points, and the goal is to find a particular string inside of a vulnerable machine or program, and finding that string will get you points. So on the topic of those strings, I'm going to pass it off to Brandon in just a second. But first of all, I want to give you guys a real example of what some CTFs look like. So you might have noticed that we were talking a little bit on the Discord about playing a CTF last weekend. It was called Down Under CTF. It was hosted jointly by a bunch of different universities in Australia, basically student clubs just like ours. And they put this event together, and it was really cool. So when you are in a CTF, this is something similar to what you'll see. There are a whole bunch of different categories. We've got OSINT and forensics and web and crypto. And you can take a look, and they have hints. And they have challenges. So if we take a look at one that is really simple that we solved, it says, how does this string relate to baseball anyways? What even is baseball, and how does this relate to cybersecurity? And then they just have this random piece of text. If we take this piece of text and start playing around with it, you might realize it's in base 64, and if you look up a base 64 converter online, you can translate it out and get the flag, which is how we got these points. So that's a really, really simple one. They range from incredibly easy to incredibly complex, but the whole the way to start getting into the complex ones is just to jump in with both feet and start with the easy ones and work from there. The only reason that anyone in this club knows how to do anything with CTFs is just by showing up and trying them. So
Yeah.
I'm going to pass it back to Brandon
Okay.
to talk about flags.
Now, what is a flag? A flag is basically just a specific string in a very specific format, and it's just something that you give into some sort of bot or you input somewhere to get some points. We have Orchid, our bot that takes flags for us, and we also have a leaderboard running throughout the semester that keeps track of where everyone is in terms of points. We usually give out flags during workshops, or we will hide flags during the newsletter and places like that. So make sure to keep an eye out for everything if you're really into the fake internet points. And yeah, that's it for the flags.
So like Brandon mentioned, we have a bot called Orchid. She's very cool. She'll talk to you if you say her name in the Orchid channel on our server. But most importantly, Orchid keeps track of our leaderboard. So there are a bunch of things that Orchid can do. Orchid can give you roles on the server. So I currently have the web exploit role and the cryptography role. And if you DM Orchid with a flag, you will be put on the leaderboard. So throughout our workshops, like Brandon said, we have flags, we keep a leaderboard, and you will be able to get points by texting Orchid. All right. So I think that just about brings us to the end of this section. That's the basics of the InfoSec Club. That's what we do. That's who we are. I'm going to bring Alex and Jeremy back on.
Yeah,
oh,
okay.
Go for it, Jeremy.
Last point will be attendance. We keep track of this for membership. Remember, you have to attend at least half of the meetings to qualify to be a full voting member of the club. by the AGM at the end of the year. That's one of the things you have to do. So if you follow that link, if someone could post that in the chat for everyone, you can go in there, you can add your name, your email. We need to ask for your UCID if you're a University of Calgary student. We need that because the SU needs it to prove that you're a real student here and we're not just making up the students that are actually in this club. If you're not a student at the U of C, you can just put a 0 in that field. If you are a student and you put a 0 in that field, that doesn't help us very much. We promise not to give out your UCID. There's also a box on there if you want to sign up for the newsletter that we send out once a month. And yeah, and a box you can check if you're in Computer Science 329 for your participation point with Dr. Henry. So that's the attendance form. The link to it should be in the chat right now for everyone. Yeah, and we use that to keep track of who has come to the meetings. So with that, that's the end of our intro for the club and all the execs. They're going to be coming back throughout the year. They're all in the Discord. You can talk with any and all of them in there. And they'll be coming back and teaching workshops throughout the year. Some of them teach more, some of them teach less, but you will see all of the execs around in the Discord and be able to ask them questions and chat with them there. With that, we are going to transition into the workshop that we have now. Unless there's anything else, guys, anything else that we need to mention that you can think of?
Not that I can think of.
No, I think that's everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's everything.
So-
if you have questions,
yeah,
post in any of the chats.
Yeah, if there's any questions, they might have gone by us. You can drop them in the chat and we can try to answer them right now. Anything about attendance, the execs, how the club works, how we've been doing this summer. How do I pay you?
If you are trying to figure out how to pay us, you can 90% chance you can e-transfer us to infosec.ucalgary@gmail.com. Just e-transfer to our email. If you are kind of like a special case, like I know someone mentioned that they're an international student and they don't know if they'll be able to do a Canadian Interac e-transfer, DM Sunny on Discord and he will help you out and try and find a solution.
Okay. Where do I send my mother's maiden name and security question answers? Yeah.
DM them to Analytical Engine on Discord. Don't do that, please. I don't want to be responsible for that.
You can post them in the Orchid channel and see what Orchid thinks of that information.
Yeah.
You're laughing, but last year our first meeting started with us passing USBs around from person to person, and it's one of the eternal jokes and shames of our club that on our very first meeting ever, we made people plug in random USBs into their computers.
It was fine. Everything turned out fine.
Yeah. If someone had a virus on their computer, everyone had it by the end of that meeting. We were all the same. Yeah, I'm not seeing any questions. Will workshops be recorded? Yes. Workshops will be recorded. They'll be recorded on YouTube, I believe, and they'll be kept on there. So you should be able to go back and see the recordings on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. And we should also be posting a link to that in the Discord at some point, probably later that day. So if you miss a meeting, you won't get the attendance, but you can still view it later on. You guys are students and you have other things going on. We understand that. You've got classes, you're busy. If you can't make a meeting, that's fine. Don't sweat it. Last year we had people coming saying, I'm so sorry I missed a meeting. And we don't take it personally. We know you've got stuff to do. It's all right.
So we have a question about Linux distros, asking whether Manjaro and Arch stuff is fine. Yes, it is fine. The reason that we recommend Kali is because Kali comes pre-built with a whole bunch of tools that are really, really useful. So basically, it's just to make your life easier because you aren't going to spend all of your time like downloading random security and pen testing tools. Yeah, also feel free to run Kali in a VM or I think someone recommended a WSL image. All of those are fine. It's really just for the ease of the tools.
You can boot, you can make a USB bootable and put persistence on it as well. That's a really good option. And then you don't have to use space on your computer.
This is a really good question. Our beginner and advanced workshops going to be held on separate accounts. So just a little bit of clarity on this. Beginner workshops will be held on the Discord VC in our server. The other thing is to note that beginner workshops and advanced workshops are only going to be separated for the fall semester. Our main goal here is to get all of the beginners up to speed with the main categories of CTFs, but it's not going to be like you're separated all year. It's just for the early stuff so that you guys, anyone new can get their feet under them. And then after that, everything will be on Twitch and YouTube. Final, very important question. I don't know.
I was going to put it on. It's actually a green screen, and there's a house behind us.
Yeah.
I don't know how to turn it off.
So
it's part of the streaming service.
Alex's water bottle is green, and for some reason, it's picking it up like a green screen, and that's what her water bottle looks like. We've been laughing at it for about a day now.
Anyways, we're fine.
all right.
Yeah,
So
the breakout star of this stream is going to be Alex's water bottle.
my water bottle is. Anyway, okay. So I think we're going to move over to the Linux workshop. Just a reminder, if you guys have already, like, you know, the Linux command line, and you're thinking, oh, this isn't worth it, I'm gonna leave. Just a reminder, there are fake internet points up for grabs, and you never want to say no to that. Oh, and also the execs will be active in the Discord. If you guys have questions, you can feel free to ask them on in the comments here, or if you can prefer, you can also ask them on Discord, and we'll be watching all of these chats. So, do you guys want to take it away?
Yeah.
All right.
I will bring up my screen. Okay, so we still have people active in the chat. Some of our execs are active there. If you have questions, you can ask questions there. A reminder that they're also hanging out in Discord and in the voice channel. So if you get hopelessly lost in this, you can go there, and they should be able to help you there. So before we start, what we're going to do is an intro to the Linux command line. We did this with the Computer Science 329 students this past Wednesday. They tested it out. Yep, I'll increase the terminal size. We tested it out on real students. We didn't even get ethics board approval, but it went pretty well. For you guys, there's actually flags hidden in here. We're going to show you a few of them. We're not going to show you some of them. So you can poke around. We'll give you time to poke around in here. This is not going to be left up all the time. The other thing that you need to know is that there are very minimal protections on this server. So if you go in and try to see if we have protected against you doing something like erasing the entire server or running a fork bomb, the answer is no. We have not protected against that. I'm not going to tell you what the commands are. Don't randomly run some commands trying to figure out what they are. You will ruin this for everybody. And yeah, don't be a terrible person. One of the ethical and culture things about our club. Yeah, don't be mean to our server, please. So yeah, what you're going to be doing is SSHing onto a computer. Yep, this is my computer you're viewing right now. So you're going to start by SSHing in, and let me get you the login. And
Not named after Jeremy's dog.
sorry, let me just put this on a Word document for you guys. So this is the command you're going to run to log in if you're not familiar, and the password for that account is this. Increase that a few points. I'll give everyone just about a minute to do that. So they can get logged in.
If you're on a Windows machine and SSH is not working on your regular terminal for whatever reason, you can open up PowerShell. If you search PowerShell, it's like a different terminal that works a little better with Linux commands, and it should have SSH in it.
Yeah, so I'll give people a chance. That should be in the chat as well. Yep, that's in the chat. People should be getting logged in. And I'm going to go ahead and minimize that, and I'm going to do it too. Yeah, it's a good thing someone put it in the chat because I don't know it off the top of my head. And I almost did it again. I almost put the wrong... Magpie's password is caw.
I recommend you full screen your terminal when you SSH in.
My terminal's set to be very large, but yeah, there's a whole bunch of nonsense here. Who knows what that could be? Okay, I'm gonna clear this, and now you're logged on to our server. You know that you're logged on to our server because you can see up in your command line right next to where your cursor is right here. You can see it says Magpie at Ubuntu and all kinds of nonsense. This is the name of the computer that you're on currently. This is the name of the account that you're logged in on. So if you were to type something like who am I, which is a command, it'll tell you who you are. You are currently Magpie. And that's good. If you're done that, then you've logged in properly. Sorry, I'm just taking a look at the chat. Okay. So the first thing you might want to figure out is where you are on this computer. The way you do that is a command called print working directory, or pwd, and that will tell you where you are in the computer. So it prints it out here on the line. It tells you that you are in home/magpie. What is home/magpie? It's where you are in the directory structure on the computer right now. So you might be more familiar with how something like Windows Explorer works, where you can just click around in files. You can see in here, there's this, there's reverse engineering, computer science 525. Here's an external drive, but let's go into my hard drive. I go into the C drive. I go into this folder. There's nothing in it, of course. Program files. Now you get to see what I have installed. We go into Java. This is my least favorite folder. And we navigate down and down and down. And you can imagine this like a sort of tree structure, and you're going down and down and down into it. In fact, up here, if I click on this, you can see it goes C/program files/java/jdk. And that's the same as this back here, the home/magpie. This means you're in from the root directory, you're in home and /magpie. So these are the two folders that you're in. Yeah, so that prints out your file structure. Now we want to see what's in this. We want to see what's in here. Oh yeah, people are already going ahead and doing stuff to the computer. This is great. Someone set up a broadcast message. I don't know who it is, but someone's playing around already. There's 3 files that we can see in here right now. there's these two, a folder, files, and example file.txt. To get that, we used ls. Ls stands for list. And it tells you what is in the current folder that you're in. And remember, we're in home/magpie. There's different flags. There's things called flags that we can use with ls. So flags tell the command what you want it to do if you want it to do anything special. So we can find them by typing man ls. Man stands for manual. It'll teach you about the commands. If you put man and then any command, it should bring you something like this. This is the manual. This is what the manual looks like for anything in a Linux system. And these right here, these are the flags that I was talking about. And so if we use the -a flag, it stands for all. Tells us it doesn't ignore entries starting with a dot. B is escape. There's all kinds of them. Here's one called author. Print the author of each file. So you can do this to learn more about the command. So we're going to try ls, and then the flag we're going to use is -a. So ls-a, as we saw, is going to show us everything that's in there, and there's a whole bunch of stuff. Notice that when we just use ls, it only prints out these. Good, people are already starting to fuzz things up by creating extra fake stuff. Notice when we use ls-a, we get a whole bunch of stuff. When we just use ls, we get these. The difference, if you're looking really closely and comparing them, is that with ls-a, everything, the extra stuff that's listed, has a dot in front of it, and that means that it's hidden. So in Windows, there are files that are hidden from view sometimes, usually because they don't want people poking around in them. And you can change that to make them viewable. The same thing in here. If a file or a folder starts with a dot, it means it's just hidden from the usual list. So we use that -a flag. I'm going to clear my screen. ls-l is another flag that we can use. It tells us all about the permissions for the files. It tells us who the file owner and the group is for a file. This is something that 329 people looked at in their tutorials today and tomorrow. It'll also tell us the size of files and folders and their creation dates. So we can see this one was just created just now. Times look like they're pretty off. They're probably just not set up properly. Yeah, so we can also combine flags. So we can use -al to combine A and L flags. Then we get all the hidden files, and we get all the information about them. So that's ls. That's a really important one. You're going to learn to use that one a lot when you're poking around in files.
We have a question. What is the difference between ls and dir on Kali Linux? Can you do dir on Kali Linux?
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
yes, you can.
Incredible. dir stands for directory. So basically, like, directory is another name for folder. So it's just going to show you what's in the folder. ls is list. I didn't know that Kali had the ability to do dir. dir is normally a Windows command.
Yep, there it is. It's even got a man page.
It might be exactly the same command, pretty much, just
Very
added
likely.
in.
Yeah, you're probably used to it in command prompt. If you're on a Windows machine, it lists all the files in the place that you're in. On Linux, usually what you use is ls. Alex, do you want to do the next part? Do you have the sheet in front of you for the...
I do not.
Okay. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to learn how to look in files. To do that, we're going to use a command called cat. It stands for concatenate. Before we do that, we're going to take a look at the manual entry for it. I can already see some of the execs giggling in the background because the command is mancat, which is a running joke amongst the execs. Emily is just so happy right now.
I'm just really glad that this happened anyway.
Yeah. This is Emily's favorite thing. Yeah, so this is the manual for cat or concatenate. And it says that concatenate files and print on the standard output, which is your screen. It has all kinds of flags that you can use. You can read up on that. So what we want to do is we want a cat with a certain file, and we're going to use the example file. So cat example, and a hint here for anyone that's new, and this is going to save you a ton of time, is that you can hit tab partway through writing out a file name, and it'll complete the file name as long as it knows what you mean to type. So for example, there's a file called magpies over here. If I create another file called magpie.
The terminal is not on the screen, Jeremy.
Oh, yes, sorry. If I create another file called magpie, so now we have magpie and magpies. If I type cat mag and hit tab, it tries to do the first one, and it makes a sound for me telling me that there's another file here and it doesn't know which one I want. But if I go cat ex, the only thing it could be is example file, and it fills it in for me. So I'm going to go cat example file, and what it does is it prints out what's inside that file. It's text, so it reads it out and spits it out on the terminal to us. It says this is just a test file. So that's the cat command. You're going to use that a bunch today. It's a good one to know. And next, we're going to start navigating around and looking in folders. So how do I open a JPEG is here. Don't look in here. Files, people are creating all kinds of things. We want to look in a folder. So CD, if I type A and hit tab, it goes to a folder. You can hit enter, and now you'll see showing us that we're in ~a folder. This indicates from our home directory. So we can look in here, and what's in here but another folder. So we can go CD, another folder, enter, and there's another one. Before we go all the way down, we're going to go backwards. If we wanted to go back to a folder, we would type CD ... CD ... tells the system that we want to go back. So we go back to the folder that we just came from, and there it is. Again, with the tab, you can hit tab here. It'll autofill. The only thing that's in here is another folder, so it knows you want to go into another folder. If the only thing in that is maybe this one and you hit tab again, maybe this one goes on, you can keep doing this and see how far it'll go. And sure enough, there's a whole bunch of stuff here. So we go all the way down using that tab command, and I'm going to clear again. I type ls to see what's in there, and there's a text file called don't look here, and another folder called pictures. Sorry, just taking a look at the comments. Okay. Alex, feel free to pull up the sheet if you want to take over at any point.
Okay.
So yeah, now we've learned how to navigate around and look in folders, and how to move back and forth. We've used tab to autocomplete. We're going to stop here for a second, and there's two folders, or there's a file and a folder. We want to see what's up with don't look here, because we are crafty flag finders, and we want to look for flags. And if we're told not to do something here, we want to take a look. So cat don't look here .text, and we find this. We have a question. Why are all these flags worth 1 point? It's because we're going to be guiding you to a lot of these flags.
There is a way to get all the flags at once.
Yeah, there are
you're
commands if you're more advanced to be able to find all the flags on this server in one command. You have to be a little bit familiar with how to do that. We're going to show you some of them. That's why they're worth 1 point. This is not like the big money workshop with challenges. Yeah, one of our more advanced people knows the trick, the power of grep. We're going to go into grep as well. Also, there's no flag for it, but well done figuring out what my background is and even who the character is. Not a lot of people know who that is. So yeah, we are in this folder now. We've looked in here and we found our first flag. We know it's a flag because it starts with our prefix. All of the flags for our club for the workshops are going to start with UCSec. It's got the brackets on it, and then it's got a bunch of leet speak in there where some of the letters are replaced with numbers. This is usually what flags look like. So I'm going to demo this. To get points, you copy the flag. You go to our server.
No.
Yes, someone posted a flag just in the server, if you can see here. This is not the thing to do. You're not supposed to share flags with people. The rule of a CTF is no flag sharing. So if you've done that, it's because you've made a mistake. Orchid will not accept a flag done this way. In fact, I'm going to delete that. Oh, there we go.
I already deleted
It's
it
gone.
for you.
If you want to get points from Orchid, what you need to do is direct message Orchid. So if you find Orchid and right click, you can go to message. If you go over to the right here, you can right click Orchid. You might be able to double click. Nope. Right click Orchid message. And that brings up the Orchid window. And there's flags there from previous CTFs. I've typed too much. Now if I want points, I send Orchid this flag. Oh, I've typed too much, actually. Discord's put me in timeout. There we go. You found a flag worth 1 point. So now I'm on the board. I've got 1 point. I can go to the club. I can go here. I can type O exclamation leaderboard. And Orchid will show me the leaderboard. I'm not even on the leaderboard. I've got 1 point. The 10th place person has 4 points. So you can get it on the leaderboard by finding flags today. I'm going to just take this out. Okay. So now you found your first flag. This is what you're looking for. You felt the rush, the thrill of finding a flag. This is what it's all about. You're going to get fake points. You're going to find fake strings. And life is going to be good. You're going to ignore your schoolwork and devote yourself to this nonstop all day.
I just want to note, if you are on a VM and you want to submit a flag, you could either download Discord onto your VM. I think I've done that. Or you can, if you're using VirtualBox, you can connect your clipboard on the two, and it will paste on your other side. So you can do either. Or just make a notepad and then send all the flags at once later when you're back on your normal. You can go ahead, Jim.
Yeah. Sorry, no, I was just looking at the comments. Yeah, this is the kind of thing that CTFs can do to you. You have to try to limit yourself sometimes when they come up. So that's how good it is. We've got addicts telling you that they were once alive, and now they're just husks. All right, so we found everything we want to find in here. Doesn't look like there's anything else. How do we know there's nothing else? Well, we know the commands for that. Looks like there are other things, but we're not going to go there. We're going to look into pictures. The way we do that is CD pictures. Now we're in the pictures folder. I apologize because I have to make this so big. It's taking up my whole screen. So this might be a little awkward. So now we're in pictures. Let's see what's in here. There's a ton of stuff in here. In fact, I can tell that you guys have been making extra stuff. Good. You're making it hard. Yeah, if we want to go back now to our home directory, let's say that we want to go back to where we started, which was way back here because we're in all of these folders right now. We can just go cd/home/magpie, and now we're back. We're back where we started. You notice we started in a folder. There it is right there. So that's you can navigate around just using CD, and if you know the location, you can type it in. We're going to go back into a folder, pictures. Yeah, and there's a bunch of stuff here. Alex, did you pull up the? Did you pull up the sheet? Did you want to take over? So I think we're here. Questions about files in here.
Do you just want me to ask them?
Yeah, sure. Like you can just start talking. I need to drink some water.
So you're going to be able to get a lot of information about these files that might tell us a little more about what they are. A secret is that the file extension on any files doesn't actually tell you anything. You can put any file extension on any type of file. It does not indicate what kind of file it actually is. So how big is zerocats.jpg? Does anyone know? You can type in the chat to let us know, or just try and figure it out. Some of the things we taught you earlier in the workshop will be helpful to figure that out.
And when we say how big is it, we're talking about like its size, like how many bytes is zerocats.jpg. There's a bit of a delay between us and the streams. Sometimes it takes a little while for the answers to roll in. Yeah, we got an answer. The correct answer is 0. And we know this because we know that ls-l gives us all kinds of information about these files. And we can see here 0cats, and it has a size of 0.
What does that mean, though? How does a JPEG have 0 bytes in it? It basically means that that JPEG is not a JPEG. It's just a part of the name. We added .jpg on the end, and there's just nothing inside. So then how big is sumcats.jpg?
The current question is, how big is sumcats.jpg? Same two people, same answer again. From the same person. Correct answer, and close, but nobody wants to listen to that one. Yeah. Yeah. So we can see here, sumcats is 41 bytes. Is sumcats similar to any other files in here in any way? And the answer is yes. This is pretty slow when we try to ask for response to these questions. Yeah, it's the same as test.text. What is it that makes them the same? It's the fact that they're both 41 bytes. So this is a text file. We know that we're looking for flags. Flags tend to have, flags tend to be text. So we can take a look at that. We can try test.text, and it's telling us that permission is denied. No good. We can't look in this file. We can try all we want, but as we can see, we don't have permissions in here. I can explain that a little bit later if anyone would like me to, because the 329 people have gone over it today. I'm going to expect that most people probably know what this means, but we can go over that later. So we can't look in test.text, but this file is the exact same size, so it might have some information for us. Maybe we can check to see if there's any text in sumcats. Bam! We win. Look what we found. We found more fake internet points that we can feed to our bot so that it can grow and take over. It's so far away from doing that. Yeah, so the lesson here is that sumcats is not what it seemed to be. Again, we said that those file extensions, they lie. In Windows, when you change these file extensions around, it completely changes the way that Windows views the files. You've probably taken them off at one point, and it just didn't know how to read the file. It's because it didn't have the extension. In Linux, it's not the same thing. You can add file extensions on in the name, and it doesn't change anything. But it also means that sometimes those file extensions will lie to you. And the way we can tell what kind of a file it is, so if we do file on test.text, we see that it's telling us it's a regular file with no read permission. So file can't read. File is a command that will give you information about certain files. So let's check on what sumcats is, and it tells us that sumcats is ASCII text. That means that sumcats seems to be a text file to this, which doesn't make any sense. We think it's a picture file, but no, it turns out that it's actually a text file, and that's why we can find the flag in there. So now that we know how to check what kind of a file is, we've got another cat file in here. For anyone that doesn't know, cats are very popular on the internet, and they tend to be all over the place in culture and society, and they've kind of taken over the InfoSec Club in a lot of ways. And so you're just going to find cats all over the place in our workshops and our examples for things. Yeah, so get ready. You're going to see plenty of cats. So we've got one more cats file in our example. It's called manycats. Let's see what kind of a file that is. Let's see if it's lying to us. Manycats.jpg. Manycats.jpg is not ASCII text. It is a PNG image file. So that's different. That is not going to be the same. Some of you have probably been trying to read ahead a little bit and figure out what's in here. Let's see if we can read what's in manycats using cat. Manycats. And this is what happens. What is this? Have I broken the machine? Is our computer gone haywire? Why is this happening? Oh, now it looks like it's frozen. Maybe I've goofed up real bad. The answer is no. What we just did was we tried to read manycats with the cat command. So it's trying to interpret it like text. And down here, we can see there's plenty of text. But up here, the information in the file is not ASCII text. So it's looking at that information and trying to convert it into text. Sometimes it doesn't know what it's reading, and it's just like, that's not text at all. All I know is to print this symbol here, just to fill things in. And we know that that doesn't make any sense to us. But down at the bottom of the file, yeah, there is a whole bunch of text. This does make sense to us. The problem is that if there's a flag in here, it's buried somewhere. We don't know where that flag is, and we want to be able to find out. And we can do that. There are commands for that. Alex, do you want to take over now?
So we might have noticed that one of our big users, Petiel, made a comment about grep and how powerful grep is. Grep is basically a way to find a specific string. It pattern matches to find strings within text or anything like this. So we can actually use grep to find the strings that we're looking for. So in CTFs, we always know the prefix of a flag. So in our club, it's UCSec. And we know that we want to look for that in this file. So if we go strings and then say the file name, and then just hit enter, what it's going to do is it's finding everything it thinks might be English, like an English word within that file. So it needs to be at least 4 characters long, and you'll see it's pulling out all of that binary data and being like, this might be a word. So lots of it's not, obviously. Most of that's not English. There is the massive chunk of text at the very bottom, though, that it very clearly recognized as English and spit out for us. That's nice, but it's still not quite nice enough for us to find the flag. So we're going to pipe it with the command grep. So if we go strings and then the file name, and then we put a bar, that's called a pipe, and then we go grep, and then what we want the string to look like. So in our case, because we're looking for our club's flag, we're going to go UCSec, and then click enter.
Has someone deleted manycats? Yes, someone has.
Cool.
So this is the thing that we were asking people not to do.
They might have
renamed
compressed it. Look at the GZ. Manycats.jpg.gz. I think they just compressed it.
They just renamed it. Now we do our seizure-inducing read again.
No, they compressed it.
Oh no, they compressed it.
You might be able to do unzip. Space and then the name.
Oh, terminal's acting up. Unzip. It doesn't want to autocomplete all of a sudden.
Now it's a JPEG.
Someone
They
must have
unzip it for us.
Someone must have unzipped it for us. And because I always type string. Yep, it's back. Okay.
Okay. So many cuts. And then the vertical line, which is a pipe, and then grep, and then use csec, and press enter. You'll see that it highlights in red all of the times that we see that string. That can be helpful. We might want it to be more helpful. So one thing that doesn't appear often in English words, if we do that same command again, Jeremy, but we put the opening of a curly brace at the end of use csec because all flags have that as their opening, and then click enter. We'll be able to scroll through and find our flag, possibly. And that's a nice trick. You can do a lot of things with grep. You can man grep, and you can make it have regex, which some of you will know from 313. Regex is basically a way to format strings to like say a pattern. So you could make it more complicated than that. You could add a ton of different flags with grep to make it pick out certain things, but it's a really powerful command. And as Petiol said, there might be a way to find all of the flags on the server purely through using grep.
And he would be right. There is, you can find everything on here just using grep. So we've done grep now. Now we're going to switch into, we've seen that there's JPEG files that aren't really JPEG files. Secret picture.jpg is a picture that we might want to see, but we know it's in blue, which means that it's not actually a picture. It's actually another folder, and in that folder, when we type ls, we get a bunch of stuff in there. What was the order for grep?
Yeah, so it's always strings and then the file name, just because we want to say that we're going to look through all the strings in said file. And then you do a pipe, and then grep, and then what you want the string to look like.
Yeah, so when we type grep, then we're telling it what it is that we want it to search for and highlight. If I click enter here, I don't know if anything will actually happen. Yeah, because there's nothing in that. We can see what's inside of input if we want by typing cat input thingeries, I guess. I don't know if I typed that or if someone changed that in there. Clear again. Yeah, but there's some different files here. One is called test.c, executable.c, input.txt, and executable. Let's see what kind of files we have. So let's try executable. File tells us a whole lot of information about executable, this one in green here. Tells us it's 64-bit, tells us the architecture, what version, tells us some information about how it was built. This is an executable file. Files that are executable are not always called executable. We called it that to identify it easily for you. So it's an executable file. There's no extension, and it's giving us all this information on it. If we type file executable.c, it tells us that is a C source or ASCII text. Since it's ASCII text, we know that we can use cat on it. And when we do that, this is the program. So this is just text, essentially. And it is the program for that executable file. So this is, sorry, where are we? There we are. Executable.c is the program. This is where we wrote it. And then when we compiled it, it turned it into this file, an executable file called executable. If that's not confusing enough for you, we don't know how to make it any more confusing. Yeah, so what does executable do? Well, we can run executable. And we can run an executable or a binary file by typing / and then executable. And then it wants us to know, what should I repeat? We'll say things, and it prints out things again. It's a great program. This is like the best program I know how to write. This is the code here. This is exactly what it does. Anyone who remembers last year, you're going to notice it uses gets, which means that you can do a lot of fun stuff, like you can scream at it. And if you don't understand what I'm doing here, there's a whole workshop for the beginners that's designed to teach you exactly what this is. Yep. And the program says stack smashing detected because I didn't shut the protections off, and then it aborts. Basically, whatever I just did there, the program or the computer really hates me for it.
For anyone who is currently in 355 or not in it yet, this will rule your life when you're in 355.
Yeah. Putting in too much input or not dealing with memory the right way is essentially what's happening there. Yeah, so that's how we run the executable. We just type that, it starts running the program. We give it something and it repeats it back to us. We used the pipe before and we're going to use it again. So we can put the input from input.txt into our executable file. And we can do that using the pipe. So again, we're going to, we want to print out what's in input.txt. And we can do that with strings input.txt, or we can do it with cat input.txt. Either one of those is going to read it out for us. So we can use either one of those. So let's use cat input.txt. Then we'll use our pipe, and we'll pipe it directly into that executable. So yeah, it's going to read out input.txt. When it goes to read it out onto the screen, it sends it to a place called stdout. The pipe basically says, whatever this program is trying to put out, instead direct it into this program over here. And there we can see that's the stuff that was inside of input.txt. We can change what is in input.txt if we want. And we're gonna learn another thing that we can do here. So echo is something that will print back whatever we type in here. So echo examples, and it just gives us back examples here. Echo another, and it just prints out another. So it's just echo is just a way to print out what we've had, but we can use it to go echo. What do we want to say? Big letters. And we're going to use this here, this symbol, and we're going to send it to input.txt. Now, what this is going to do is it's going to try to print out letters. Instead of printing it out on our screen, it's going to redirect it into input.txt. This is going to overwrite whatever is in input.txt. So this right here, this can be dangerous if you forget how to use it properly or if you don't use it properly. It's going to overwrite everything in input.txt. So if I hit enter here, and now we go cat input.txt, input.txt now contains big letters. That's great. There's another thing that we can do. Change from big letters to Alex. Any candidates?
Cats are cool.
Cats are cool. We'll echo out cats are cool. Instead of, actually, we'll do it. I'll show you. We'll overwrite big letters into input. And now cat input contains cat. What did I do wrong there? Oh, wait, someone else is doing this. That's why. Yeah, I was like, I didn't do that.
Panic.
Other people are also doing this. So yeah, if you're doing this along at home, you're also overwriting this file. There we go. Cats are cool. But now I want cats are cool and big letters in the same file. So I'm going to go back to my command. Oh, by the way, you can use the up and down arrows to go to your previous commands. So up, up, up goes to all the previous commands I've written in order. And then down, down, down brings me back down through the list. I want...
Even more fun fact that I recently learned, I think if you go Control R, you can search through all of your previous commands.
No kidding. Alex is sidetracking me now. Neat. Okay, I learned something there. Okay, so we want to echo big letters with our exclamation point. And this time we're going to use 2 of these symbols. And this time, instead of overwriting everything in input.txt, we're going to append it. So this is not going to cover up what's already in there. It's actually going to add it to what's already in there. So I'm going to run that. And now I'm afraid to see what's in input.txt. Yep. It's like, I'm sure someone has already overwritten what we wrote in. But in this case, sorry was already in there, and we appended big letters onto it. We could do it again. And again. And then cat input.txt. Yep. People are really getting into it. I like this. It also shows that some people are following along, which is really nice. Yeah, spend 10 minutes looking through your history. I believe you can also just type history. Yes. You can type history, and here are all the commands that I've put in since I logged onto the machine.
Yeah, Poncho, history, and then grep it. You can grep anything.
Yep, if I type history, pipe, grep, what was something that I...
ls, file.
There's everything that had file in it. From the history, from all of this, I can just find those ones specifically. So yeah, you're learning how to grep, you're learning how to use the pipe, you're like a power Linux user now. Again, we're going to take, we're going to cat input.txt and put it into executable. Someone has typed shh in the file. Well done. They've probably overwritten it. Oh, that's no good. Womp womp. Sorry, guys. Yeah, so that's everything that's in here. Let's do some... Do you want to do some editors? Some text editors?
Sure, I'll start with Vim.
Okay.
So for you, those of you who are in first year or don't really program that much, you might have started using stuff like PyCharm, Visual Studio Code. There's one I can't remember that's really popular. Anyways, those are all text editors. They're basically letting you open code and like write in them, kind of like a Word document, but it doesn't have all the background stuff. There's a really common text editor that's really bare bones called Vim. Most Linux will have it pre-installed. You can install it on anything. So if you type the command vim and then a file that you could open, so we can open input.txt, you'll see that we've opened up whatever's in it on a screen. This doesn't know what your mouse is. It has no idea what your mouse is. It doesn't really know what your keyboard is either. So you can't copy and paste that easily. It's a major downfall of Vim. When you open it right away, you can't actually write in it because it's got a bunch of words. There's so many Vim commands, it's really hard to teach. But we're just going to teach you how to open it so you can edit it, how to close it and save, and how to close it and quit without saving. So when you first open it, if you click I, you go into insert mode. You'll see at the bottom of the screen, it says insert now. That means you can type now. It only knows what your keyboard is, so you'll have to go through with your up and down arrow keys and everything. But now it works essentially like any text editor. You can edit anything you want, and you can program with it mostly. Now you might want to close your program and save whatever you've written. So in order to do that, you have to leave insert mode. So you have to press escape on your keyboard. And now you're no longer in insert mode, but you're still in Vim. It hasn't saved anything. So you have to type :WQ. I think it stands for write and quit, essentially. And if you click enter, then it's going to write to that file.
So
and quit.
it's upset right now because people have been changing the file while we've been in it. So yes, we're going to do that. And there's all that stuff that we just wrote in the file. A lot of people, you can also just type vim and a new file name, stuff.txt, and it'll open up a new file called stuff.txt. You have now just been introduced to a whole new world of memes, because there are tons of memes out there about the people that use Vim, about people that can't quit Vim because they don't know about the escape semicolon right quit, or you can use Q exclamation point. It's basically force quit without saving. But congratulations. If you look through our memes page on our Discord, you'll find a whole bunch of Vim memes and you'll start to understand them. The people that really love Vim love it because it's all keyboard based and they don't have to use their mouse. And if you don't have to move your hand to the mouse, you can type more and it saves you time. And the joke is that those people lose way more time telling everyone about how they use Vim. But there are other ones like Pico. Well, you go stuff.
No, we have to finish. We didn't teach them how to just like quit without saving.
Yeah, Q exclamation point. I thought I did it.
We didn't do that. If you want to quit a file without saving, you screwed up. You shouldn't have typed in it. It's escape to get out of insert mode again, :Q exclamation mark, and that's quit and overwrite or override what you've just done. You might have done it. I just
Yep.
got lost.
Nope, that's okay. Yeah, but it's very important if you go into Vim, because sometimes you'll Vim into the wrong file, to know how to get out without doing anything. People usually panic right now because they're not sure how to use Vim. Q exclamation point will be your friend. That lets you get out. I have a friend. He's a electrical engineer. He works for Nokia. He does networking. And when in second year, I showed him I was using Vim for 355 in assembly, he was blown away that I was using Vim. And all he told me was, the only thing I know about Vim is Q exclamation point, because if I ever accidentally open something, I need to quit without saving, because I don't want to destroy files. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing with Vim. So you're already better than like a 20-year veteran with Nokia. Pat yourself on the back. So yeah, there's Pico, there's other text editors, Pico, Sublime, Emacs. Some people are really into their text editors and they'll fight you about it. If you go to the Discord, you might have seen people arguing about it. Use whichever one you enjoy. If you want to pick a camp to argue with people, do that. That's fun. That's great. This is Pico. This is the one that we used in 329. At the bottom here, you'll see there are some commands. This one's more user-friendly because it'll actually tell you how to get out of it. These are just control, so you can do Control X to escape from Pico. But those are some of the text editors. The official club editor is Vim, though. Yeah, I think I'd be happy to put my mark behind that. Anyone in Computer Science 355, computing machinery, you're probably going to start out, at least we did, we started out with Vim. So you learn it from the ground up. Sublime. Yeah, Sublime's also a good one. I think John Hammond uses Sublime in all of his videos, and John Hammond is good people. And like semi-officially a friend of our club. Go watch his videos. He's great. Where are we now? So we've got the executable. We've got input.txt. Yeah, just a few more things that you can learn. Touch is a command that lets you create a file. So if I go touch new file and hit enter, now there's a file in here called new file. That's a quick way to make a file. If I go RM is for remove. I want to remove new file. So now it's deleted. Be very careful with the RM command. You can delete a lot of stuff if you start playing with the flags. look at me right now. Don't start playing with the flags in RM right now in this server. You're going to cause problems. So we've done touch, we've done RM. To make a new directory, you want mkdir space and then the file name. Let's go folder with. So now if we look in, there's a folder called folder. The way that we delete a directory is rmdir folder, and now it's gone. Yeah, looks like files are being deleted in here. People are starting to destroy stuff. Please don't destroy some of the files that we've been using. I'll let those ones go, but yeah, things are disappearing. Yeah, so that's how RM works. What are some other commands? You've made directories, you've deleted directories. Oh, an important one to know is sudo. Sudo is one of my favorite commands. It stands for super user do. You're never going to forget that because that's just a hilarious thing to call a command. So sudo stands for super user do. The super user is usually a root user. The root user is God on one of these machines. The root user can do anything. This is called the super user. It's usually the account is named root. In a lot of the stuff that we do in our club, like the whole point is to become the root user in things. If you can become the root user, you can look around. If there's a flag on a system and you log in as Magpie, what you want to do is become the root user and then just search for all the flags. If you're not the root user and like we're Magpie right now and you want to try running a command as the root user, you can write sudo and then the command you want to do. And it'll try to run it as the root user. If you don't have permission, though, it will kick you out and tell you that you don't have permission to do that. Yeah, there we go. If you're looking at the stream right now, another fun meme. This is another one of my favorites. That's what doing sudo does. It just forces things to work in Linux most of the time. I think Mike said, yeah, sabotaging a lab that others are using is sabotaging their opportunity to learn. Yep, I agree with that. So yeah, other people are trying to learn in here. If you delete the files that they're using, you're just harming everyone else. If you're having a good time doing that, I don't know, maybe find something else to do. Yeah, what are some other commands that would be useful to know? We've done sudo.
chown.
Chown. Okay. So we've talked about the permissions on files. Oh yeah, someone's trying to grep. We've talked about the permissions on files. So this little string over here tells you about the permissions on every file. Let me go back here and we can see a whole bunch of files. Some of these have different permissions, which means the R, W, and X stand for read, write, and execute. They come in sets of 3. Each set of 3 is for a different group. So the first set is for the owner, the second set is for the group, and the third set is for everybody else. Chown will let you change permissions on files. And what do we want to chown? We want to chown 0 cats. Am I using this right?
No, you need to. What are?
Oh, I need to do the 777.
Yep.
So this is saying chown 777. This stands for what the permissions are in the file. This is called octal notation. Anyone in 329 is doing this today and tomorrow. This is why I seem to know that term. 777 means that it sets all of these to read, write, and execute. So we're going to set 0 cats to read, write, and execute. Oh, nice. So we don't have permission to change the ownership of Zero Cats.
Show them what happens when you sudo with that.
Yeah, so we're going to sudo. So this is one of those situations of the system saying you don't have permission to do that. So we're going to tell it, I want to do this as if I were the root user. So we're going to do that. And now it wants the sudo password. I'm not going to tell you guys this. 100 UC Calgary.
Jeremy.
Oh, wrong.
Oh.
Yeah. It wants the root password. Can I not remember the root password? Maybe not. No, apparently I can't remember it. If this worked, that's how it would work. Yeah, there we go. Finally got into Word. Yeah, so where were we? We wanted to change... we wanted to change the permissions on Zero Cats. 777 Zero Cats.
You'll need to
Oh,
sudo.
and we wanted to sudo it. Oh, it wants the password from Magpie.
Yeah, it's ka. And we're not in the sudoers file.
Oh, right.
It's going to report it. What's the sudoers file?
Are you asking me?
I can tell them.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
On the system, there's like different files that are basically controlling. I don't know how to say this. Like essentially the settings. I don't know how to say it, but the sudoers file is etc/sudoers, and if you have permission to see that, Magpie will not. You can add users into the sudoers file, so then any user can sudo permissions. Thanks, Tyler. It basically controls the permissions of the user as well. Since we're not in it, Linux is going to report us, and according to Ryan Henry, that does go somewhere.
Yeah. I don't actually know where this happens. I think it's like now a joke that you get reported. Yeah, we don't know. We don't know where the actual incident gets reported. I don't know if that's something that needs to be set up. But basically, Magpie doesn't have the ability to use sudo, is what the system is saying. It's saying that you're not one of the people that should be doing this. Also, we're going to report you. Who knows? Who knows where that goes? Where else? Anything else? Basically, Linux will tell your parents. Yeah, something like that. Goes into the auth log, and if you have audited, and even more is recorded. Okay, yeah, Mike. For people who don't know, Cyber Librarian is a friend of our club named Mike McDonnell. He has a stream where he does videos about cybersecurity and information security industry. He does great talks with people, interviews. He does these things called Tech Tuesday, where he previews different cool things out there. Last week, he did something called a honeypot, where they set up a fake system like this. It looks exactly like this. It pretends to be a Linux system, but it's not. And then you watch people try to break into it. You put it out on the internet. It was really great. I posted it for the 329 people. If you get a chance, I'd recommend going to check out Cyber Librarian. It's a great stream. And Mike is very helpful. He's also in our Discord. Yeah, I'm really happy to plug his channel. And he's been a great friend to the club and to the exec. Really nice guy. According to XKCD, it gets reported to Santa. Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, I think that's just about everything that we meant to cover in the workshop today. Was there anything else? Anything else anyone can think of? Alex, any of the other execs? Emily? No? Yeah, share a link to Mike's channel. To Mike's server. I don't know if we want to flood Mike's server with our club. I don't know. I think it's been shared in the past for anyone that wants to find it. I'd want permission from Mike first before we post that for everyone. Yeah, I think that's just about everything. Yeah, so there's more flags hidden on this server. I think we'll leave it up for tonight. Again, don't be malicious and destroy things that you shouldn't. If you find a flag, leave it there for others to find. We set this up without a lot of protections because we had to do it kind of at the last minute. Mike's given us permission to link to his server.
The link we just posted is the link to Mike's server. They're not all students there, so I would be careful what you say. Those are industry professionals who work in cybersecurity. If you do anything bad, that reflects negatively on yourself.
Yeah, there's some really experienced people in there.
How do you leave the server when you're done?
Yeah, good question. Usually, you can type, is it log out?
No, exit.
It's exit. And then it starts bringing me back through my connections, and I typed it one too many times and closed my window. Oh, for anyone that's curious, hold down the power button. Yeah, there you go. That's a great suggestion. Control D. I'm a big fan of just hitting the X up here in the corner to close it. For anyone who's been in the Discord server and has seen people, everyone's going to argue all the time about what Linux is better. Some people are like diehards, they're fanboys, and they will fight anyone that believes differently from them. What you're seeing me working right now, I'm on a Windows machine, as you saw. But this right here is, you'll see people talking about WSL2. And WSL2 is Windows subsystem for Linux. If I type this, it should. It's taking its sweet time. There we go. This is essentially like a Linux system that is inside of a Windows machine. It's relatively new. It's been out for WSL2, the newest release, has been out for a couple of months now, like half a year maybe. I think it came out in 2020. But yeah, this allows you to have a Linux terminal in your Windows system. It's really lightweight and it's easy to use. If you're trying to find something very easy, I'd recommend taking a look at this. We can try posting stuff in the server. Otherwise, VMs, virtual machines, which is, I can show you. It looks like a program that runs another server in your computer, or runs another operating system in your computer. So this is VirtualBox. So this is the program. These would be the other operating systems that I've given it, or that I've installed. I only have Kali, and when I tried to do this last time, it gave me an error and quit. So we're going to try booting it up. It's now basically emulating or like trying to run another computer inside this program. At some point when it was loading last time, it just died on me. I haven't used this in a long time. The Linux or the Kali is probably long out of date, but this is the sort of thing that we were directing people to try to install.
If you need help with the Kali install, maybe we'll spend some more time in office hours doing that to help people out. Sorry, I can hear my own voice, and I've got like a speech jammer going on. So,
If VirtualBox is being an issue, you can install the OVA file instead of an image of Kali, and it's very simple. But I recommend coming to our office hours on Friday, and we'll help you out.
Didn't Professor Henry say something about virtual machine making you vulnerable to rootkits? I believe that is possible. That's something that's come out recently. It used to be that you would install a virtual machine to protect your computer from malicious code. So you could run it inside this. Yeah, it's crashed on me. You could run it inside this virtual machine and it wouldn't affect the outside computer. More and more people are figuring out how to get out of the virtual machine and into your actual machine that's running the virtual machine. If it's possible, it's very challenging to do, and it's, I think, relatively new for it to happen. Go ahead and close that. Kali works better in VirtualBox 5.0. Okay, that's from Petiole. He's one of our members from last year who's was on our leaderboard last year. I would trust Petiole to know. I got that a few minutes before the workshop. Can I come to office hours just to watch people struggle to install Kali? Yeah, you can come to just hang out as well. There's usually a couple of us that are just sitting there waiting for people to show up, and nobody does. A few people still hanging around. I'm going to add some of the execs back into the stream. I'm going to shut my screen off now.
if you missed today's session, then it will be on YouTube afterwards. We're recording it, and it will be on YouTube, so you will still be able to watch what we did tonight.
Yeah, you'll be able to see the presentation and then watch the little workshop that we did. You probably won't be able to log in and follow along like we did because we're going to have to shut this down. Yeah.
Like we mentioned at the beginning, the purpose of having Kali is just there are a lot of pen testing tools that are pre-installed on Kali. Penetration testing, basically ethical hacking. So there are a lot of tools that are already installed, and it means that you don't have to do the work. So you will need a Linux distro in order to use the tools that we are using. If you want to use a distro that isn't Kali, if you want to use Linux through WSL, that's fine. But you'll save yourself a lot of trouble by just doing Kali.
Yeah, we're going to post. We're going to post
sorry.
all the tools that
Yes.
we used for each workshop beforehand. So even if you have Kali, sometimes you might need to download and install stuff, but we should be posting what you need and the commands that you need to run to download them. We're not going to do that during the workshops. Last year, when we started out, we would start out by trying to download things, but that's when we found out that it would cause lots of problems because some people couldn't do it. There'd be glitches. So yeah, we're going to ask you to install it before the workshop. We'll usually release it on a Wednesday, and the workshop is the next upcoming Monday. So we'll release it on a Wednesday. The Friday, we'll have the office hours where we can help people who are having any problems installing things. So that's kind of the way that works. So if you don't want to install Kali and you want to install something else, you can, but you're going to have to install a lot of the tools yourself, which we can try to help with, but we don't have any guarantees.
I think Josh was about to make a really good point as well about an alternative if you don't want Kali.
Oh, that might have been me. I was saying WSL2 does have a Kali distribution as well as an Ubuntu distribution. So if you really can't use a virtual machine or you can't use a USB, you can download the Kali version of WSL. It has a lot of the tools. It might be good enough for some of the beginner workshops, but when you need some like GUI-based tools that a virtual machine allows you to have, it's kind of nice to have the virtual machine instead of just the command line that WSL. But WSL is a good beginner option.
You can also, there's another security distro similar to Kali, lots of pre-installed tools called Parrot OS if you, for some reason, prefer that. Any other questions? Anything else we want to say, guys? Yeah, I guess just come hang out in office hours. We basically we just want friends. Yeah, I guess the other thing that we didn't really talk about is the fact that that, like the CTF I showed you guys in the first half that we played last weekend, there will be CTFs run by different organizations that are kind of like rolling throughout the semester. So we'll post about those. Feel free to join them. Feel free to make teams. If you want, you can talk to us and have us maybe find a team for you if you want to participate. Yeah, CTF's the best way to play is just to start playing. So we will let you know about upcoming events whenever we hear about them that we think would be a good fit.
Yeah, the password might have changed. I'll go in and change the password. I'll try to change the password back. Anything else? I think that's just about everything for us. Yeah, so thanks everyone for coming out and for sticking around. I think a couple of us are going to go hang out in the voice channel in the club if you want to come and say hi. We've had each other to talk to on this stream, but nobody else. Yeah, so we're just going to go there and hang out. Feel free to give us feedback on how this worked. We're using this streaming platform right now called StreamYard. We thought it would be a little slicker, a little nicer, and I hope it looks better than just like a Discord screen share. Yeah, so yeah, feel free to head over to the Discord. We'll hang out there. And yeah, I hope to see you guys next week. First full workshop is next week. Josh, is it breaking into a box for the advanced? Yes, the advanced workshop will be how to break into will be a guide to breaking into a box. So we'll be demoing Hack the Box, a website for doing hacking and penetration testing for the advanced people. For the intro workshop, it is, I want to say, web exploitation.
I'll be doing, it's a intro to web exploitation for the beginner next week.
With James, right?
Yeah.
Yep, so James will be walking you through the basics of web exploitation. There'll be links to how to get to those places in the Discord next week before it starts. Yeah, otherwise, thanks everyone for coming. We'll start signing off now. And yeah, everyone have a good night. We'll see you next week.